Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Madletter and today we're going to continue the Pillars of Eternity Let's Play series. So, we are in Brackenbury and we want to go to the Sanitarium, because there's 3 quests we have to do in there. So let's go right on ahead. So we have 1 main quest here and 2 side quests which we want to do. So first of all we want to look for nuns, or however that is to be spoken. Who is the animancer who was supposed to essentially buy the scepter we found, I believe, in Ondra's Gift it was. So yeah, let's quickly take a look around. There she is. Let's talk.
Good day, stranger.
An elderly woman peruses the shelves with a quickness and energy that belie her age. I'm afraid I don't practice anymore, child. Too busy with my research. Okay, Immortal sent me. He said you'd be interested in the scepter pieces we found. That chatty old fishwife's been blabbing about me, I see. She laughs and rolls her eyes. Never trust your secrets to a man with so much salt in his beard. Anyway, let's see what you've got. Nance examines the scepter, her eyes hooded by crinkled flesh. Immortal told you true. I'll buy this. Unfortunately, a broken scepter isn't as valuable as he may have led you to believe. She steals a glance at your face, but her fingers tighten around the piece in her hand. I'll take it off for you for 500. Yeah, you seem a little bit too excited. What are you telling me? The corners of her mouth twitch upwards. Sharper than a metal, I see. The truth is, I could repair the scepter. She runs her finger along one of the patterned pieces. It's broken, sure enough, but the pieces themselves are in good condition. Making it whole again is a matter of alchemy. Expensive alchemy. I've got to soak the broken ends in fiend's blood compound to reconnect them. Never mind the embalming work to restore the enchantments. She eyes you. I could do it to the tune of 1,800 pence. Wow. Let's go with the resolve. I'm giving you a rare opportunity to work with an Angwithan scepter. Surely you can bring the price down. Aye, perhaps. If you want to bargain and haggle with every Dragonblood vendor and imp-horn merchant in the city. She puffs her sucking cheeks. Very well, you can have the satisfaction of working an old woman to an early grave for only 1,500. Deal? I'll expect you'll want to watch and see that your money's put to good use. Better get comfortable, Jen. She lays out an array of powders, potions and other obscure ingredients on her desk. Cool. After what feels like hours, she returns to the main hall with you and presents the scepter. Looking at it, you'd never know it had been broken in the first place. This may be the finest work I've ever done, if I may say so, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Examining a piece like that is a dream come true for someone in my field. She gazes at it wistfully. Take good care of it. Sweet. Okay, so farewell for now. So yeah, the quest is considered done, and we have a new scepter. The Angwithan scepter. Let's take a look then. You currently have a scepter. Fine one, so let's compare. Does more damage. And 20% more attack speed. That's pretty good. Yeah, I need to check up where I can get more recipes, actually. Okay, so for now, you're actually gonna get to use that thing. Okay, next up, we are looking for... who was it again? The head warden of Brackenbury Sanitarium. The search for the Leaden Key. And then we also have, I believe it was a task? No, the task we just did, I think. Which one? Alright, this one, a voice from the past. The retired adventurer in Copperlane. For that Helig guy who's in the crypts below, we are to search Modred's laboratory. So let's start with talking to the head warden here. A well-maintained statue of middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down unblinking on the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned towards you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I am envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? You may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. Ethelmore groans and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You're at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it? Yeah, they're up to something, and I'm trying to determine what. They are always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? I won't know until I've met them. Very well, in that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in the offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Okay, so I'm also looking about a guy named Modred. Modred, of course. You will find him downstairs in the first room on the right. Yeah, I'm curious how you've come to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old, and it seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different cause entirely. All that experience wasted. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that, I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I had built seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple, as our techniques go, but for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you're considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. So tell me about the sanitarium. A history lesson? This is a rare pleasure. Most come in here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We are an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that those born with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its streets in droves. Thus the sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion and animancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have played host to many gifted researchers, and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my pride. Today it's... well, I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand, so it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace at this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke, absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Deerwood. That's what he says still. I fear Ava may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We shall see. Okay, thank you. Something we can take here. Let's take all the books we can. Can we talk to that guy? Nope. So, Oddmare.
Welcome.
A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses the discussion. Have you come to sit in? What is it you do here? Close as we are to the Glenfathan wilds, we get a number of beerwake maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects.
Good day to you.
Okay, we can't ask him anymore. Anyone out here? Let's ask her. Well, that's very direct. I'm investigating possible Leaden Key activities in the sanitarium. Seen anything suspicious? Oh, I'm afraid I'm too wrapped up in my own research to pay any mind what else is going on around here. One of the other animancers might know something, though. Farewell then. Let's go down. Maybe we can also deal with Modred then. Hopefully very directly. Not in killing, but just taking stuff and that's it. First room on the right. Should be that one, right? Modred! Let's give it a quick save. An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen object. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with a mingled perplexity and irritation.
How do you do?
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. Has anything unusual been happening around here? You must be joking. This is a sanitarium. Nothing is unusual down here. He pauses. Although, now that I think of it, the patients seem more agitated lately, but they're Caedum and Arsor's responsibility, not mine. Then, if there's nothing else... Okay, what are you working on? My area of focus is wichts, more specifically, how to cure them. Why do you study them? He huffs. What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face has reddened, and he turns away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer here. I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. So what exactly is a wish? Were those Hollowborn that went feral or something? A Hollowborn who received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his speckles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. Yeah, transplanting animal souls in children seems like an odd solution. We Animancers were trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. He stares at a fixed point on the far wall, and despite the controversy, it only went so far because, at first, it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistakes, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down Animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside often as not. People took it to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it, but we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. Oh, I see. Good. He looks eager to return to his work. Okay, does Helig mean anything to you? Mordred starts. Helig? He was, a colleague of mine. He was primarily a necromancer, but he was involved in animancy too. He worked at a sanitarium for several years. I dare say everyone here has heard of him. He clears his throat. He left his post recently. I believe he was seeking new opportunities in the Valian Republics. He leans forward. The advances they make in animancy really are quite remarkable. Surely you've heard? He coughs again. Perhaps you haven't. I've heard it differently. He slides his speckles down his nose. Just what are you insinuating? If this is your idea of a joke, I assure you, it's a very poor taste. Helig wasn't joking, and neither am I. I've heard enough of these baseless, Mordred pauses. Wait, you spoke to Helig? Helig lives, in a manner of speaking. But that's... Mordred frowns. If anyone figured out how to do that, it would be him, wouldn't it? He sighs and runs hand over his hair. Very well. Yes, I killed him. I killed that beast because nobody else had the spine for it. He was a madman. Years of perverse experiments, twisting healthy souls, torturing damaged souls, and for what? He flayed the essence from Glenfathan indigents for his amusement. He waves down the hall. If the public had known half of his deeds, they'd have razed this place to the ground. He taps his finger on the desk. He used the sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us and put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. He calms down and sizes you up. Anyway, now you know the whole grisly story. Helig said you stole a grimoire from him. Mordred's brow furrows. His grimoire? What's that madman been telling you? Let's give him the key. He said you kept it in the trunk over there. Mordred takes the key with a trembling hand, his eyes darting to the trunk behind you. You've been misled. There's no grimoire here, and Helig never intended you to find one. That wretched thing has an insatiable hunger for blood, he shudders. Thank you for denying him. I hope I can convince you now to return and slay him once and for all. He has something I need. I don't know what he's promised you, but he's already lied to you about the grimoire. I don't have it. If what I've told you about that evil, deceitful man hasn't swayed you, I don't know what else to say. He turns back to his papers. Trust him at your own peril. In a corner of Mordred's lab rests a large weather trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Examine it. The lack of dust on the trunk's surface and the long scratches on the tile flooring suggest that the trunk is frequently used and moved throughout the laboratory despite its considerable size. Deep yet narrow gouges score the wood at the edges of the trunk. They look like claw marks. Can we open it? Nope, we don't have the key anymore. Okay. I think we're gonna kill that guy down there then. Okay, let's continue. Belasage.
Hail and well met.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into Lou. Eccoci! Here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kid standing in front of me. What can I do? Have you noticed anything unusual or suspicious here lately? It is rare for me to notice things that do not relate to my work, even when they are in front of me. Scientera amicio. But I am not the best choice to help you with that. Something else you need. Nope. Who's in here? Ripley. That sounds like a fun name. Note from Arzu. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Let's talk to Ripley then.
How do you do?
A young older woman traces her fingers across the spines of the books in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? Well, what do you do here? I mostly help Master Arthur set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his offices organized since he's too busy to do it himself. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to my work. Farewell. And who's in here? The edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks.
I'm ready.
Okay, it seems we need to get back to the head warden. At least that's how I guess this will continue. Let's go in. So, this Azo guy definitely looks like the most likely culprit so far.
Hello!
Have you learned anything of interest? Maybe. Is Kate Manarso running experiments on the patients here? Experiments? Kate Manarso is in charge of patients' welfare now. He is not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Catman. I hoped he would be one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I for one am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would also ask you that you do best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Sounds good. So let's go down again. And I think then we're gonna do a quick stealthing around in that guy's office. Just to see if there may be something hidden. In we go.
Nice and slow.
Seems like not, but this isn't considered stealing.
That's settled.
North Ward patient record. Atiksa, the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depressions resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. North Ward patient record, Graham. Subject is male, approximately early 30s. Power of speech absent, presumably as a result of overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Then we have Idleman, the Midnight Man. Sounds like a superhero. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusion tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibilities for further use in present research. And Uskrim. Subject is male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul reveals severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Was Graham in the North Ward? Let me quickly check to be sure. There's a new one. I didn't look at it when it popped up on the top, so... It wasn't one of those guys. Modred and Belazet. If that's how you pronounce the name, I'm not actually sure. Frail. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, "A friendly visit, I hope." Do you know where I might find Azo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Have the patients been acting unusually? Well, there's Batisa, who relives the murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idleman, who they say only has half a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at the night sometimes. Yeah, I mean, different from their normal behavior. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing that they didn't volunteer for. Master also let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Okay. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow visitors, just Master Arso. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. So why are you in here? You hand her cheeks flush. I don't want to say, you'll think less of me. When you blush, it brings out the color of your eyes. Her blush deepens and she ducks her head forward and buries her face deeper beneath her hair. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I'm made to do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Ondra's gift, got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving, and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noblewoman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed, gorgeous thing, the shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they called an awakening. I remember being a noblewoman myself in another life, people doting over me, men doting over me. Me! The best food, the most beautiful home, and all the things you'd never dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison, knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten, the walls in my little room seemed to close in around me, I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. And it was that or break into a estate and start ordering servants around. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it, and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Nobody deserves to go through what you've gone through. I hope not. I can't even imagine the monster who deserves what half the patients here go through every day. Oh wow. This world is certainly fucked up in some places. Okay, so that's gonna have to do it for today though. We are nearing the half-hour mark and I wanna cut this episode out here. So thank you all for watching, hope you've had some fun. If you did, consider commenting, liking or subscribing. You can also hit me up on Twitter at _madletter. And on that note, I'm gonna say thanks again for watching, hope to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.